Hey guys, it's Mackenzie, your mommy's medium, back at it again. God, I really do hate that opening. I really need to figure something else out. Anyway, moving on. Hey guys, it's Mackenzie, and I'm back at you again in my dining room, doing what I do best, yelling at a microphone. I realized after I was talking about that one guy, Daniel, was his name Daniel? I don't even know. Jacob? No. What was his name? But anyway, I realized after I told you that one guy was yelling in his microphone last week when I went to edit the podcast, I'm like, dang, am I yelling too? And I feel like I'm not yelling. I feel like I'm just talking normally, but maybe I'm overcompensating for the fact that I think that this microphone is so far away from me. I keep pushing it further and further back because I feel like I have a lot of pops and snaps in my mouth when I talk, and I really don't notice it until I'm listening to the audio. And so yeah, I keep pushing the microphone back, and I think in my mind mentally, because the microphone is further back, that I feel like I have to talk louder. So what I'm going to do is, right now, I'm going to go to a normal tone, and maybe I won't think that I'm yelling. So this is my normal tone that I feel like I would be doing if I was talking to somebody in the room. I also have headphones on, so the headphones also make it seem like I'm not talking as loudly because of course my ears are covered. So let's just hope that I'm not yelling, because I feel like I'm yelling. And if I have been yelling in your ear for the last however many weeks since I've gotten this microphone, I'm sorry. I don't mean to yell. I'm just trying to get this whole talking into a microphone that's far away that actually picks up everything that I say and how I say it. So anyway, today is December 12th, 2017. We got a 12/12/17. Remember back when it was 12/12/12 and everybody was like, oh my God, this is the last time it's going to be 12/12/12. Anyway, moving on. I mean, that was a good time, right? Right? So yeah, it's December 12th, and I am recording again in my dining room. It is another gloomy day here in the DC area. It's nasty. We had snow over the weekend. It wasn't a big snow. It was just enough to make it annoying and have my kid want to go outside every 5 minutes because he saw the nose, as he says. He doesn't say his S's, so it's nose. And he kept wanting to go out in the snow. And yeah, and now it's about to melt. It's almost gone for the most part. Anybody who has full sun in their yards, it's already gone. My yard doesn't get full sun closer to the house because of the way, I guess, my house is positioned. Our backyard is done. The very front of our yard is done, but the closer you get to our house, the more snows or no's we still have. But yeah, and it's still kind of gloomy, and for the rest of the forecast, it's going to be a gloomy week. And again, because I think it's gloomy and the sun is covered and there's no solar flares and all that junk, I'm picking up radio station again. It's very, very, very low. You should not hear it. I barely hear it myself. I just hear it because a couple times I've sat in silence and I heard Green Day playing. Like, I had no idea that Green Day was even played on that radio station that's up the street. They dumbfound me, because one minute it's like Christian music, the next minute it's, something else. There was some weird like pop music last time, and now it's Green Day. It's the oddest thing. But anyway, we're going to get to it. Let's get to this show. It is going on 11 o'clock. Like I told you last week, I wanted to start working out, and I did. I did actually work out, and so I've been on a great workout regimen for the past couple of days, and after this podcast, I'm going to get back to it. And like I told you last week, I said if I actually started the workout, I would talk about the workout challenge that I'm doing, so I'm going to do that later on in the podcast. So other than that, I want to go ahead and get to it so I can get my workout on and come back and edit this podcast and maybe stay on schedule to actually finish editing before I go pick up my son today. He wasn't having a good day when I dropped him off. I'm not sure why. One of his favorite teachers is no longer there, Miss Norma, who would braid his hair in these elaborate like French braids because he has really long hair for a boy, and make me feel like a horrible mother for not being able to know how to do all these braids. But at the same time, I have a little boy, and I do put a lot of effort into his hair. I just never learned myself how to do anything other than a regular single 3 braid. That's it. That's all. That's all I know. That's as far as my repertoire with hair doing goes when it comes to braids and twists and stuff like that. So, yeah. So I don't know if he was sad because he knew that she wasn't going to be there, even though I told him and he said that he was okay with it. But he just did not want to be dropped off today. So I'm not going to keep him at school the full day like I normally would. I'm going to try to pick him up a little bit earlier than normal. So I want to get to this podcast and get done. So let's go ahead and get this party started. My top stories for today in no particular order, like always. We have number 1, The Weeknd and Bella Hadid. Are they back together? A source told Us Weekly that the two have been talking, texting, and FaceTiming ever since he and Selena Gomez called it quits a couple of weeks ago. Ooh. So yeah, back in the day, they used to date. They dated back in 2015 when he asked her to be the model for his album cover, which is like, isn't that the cutest way to kind of say like, ooh, I've been checking you out. I like you. So, hey, can you be the model for my album cover? Like, what kind of life do you live when that is something that you're able to do? I can't even imagine. But anyway, they dated for about 18 months and then they called it off. And I think I told you when he and Selena had split up, he went on a rampage on Instagram and like, I'm unfriending you, I'm unfriending you, I'm unfriending you. He unfriended everybody and they had went their separate ways. But I guess because of the whole Selena talking to Justin thing, he feels that it's okay for him to talk to an ex too. Now, I didn't know that Bella Hadid was only 21 years old. Like, those Hadid kids are so young, but they look so old. And all I can think is that it has to do with the whole makeup thing. You know me, I am always complaining about these young girls wearing so much crap on their face, and it just makes them look older. I would never have thought she was 21. I thought at the very least she was 24, 25, and she's only 21. So again, girls, you're hearing it from me. Stop putting all that crap on your face. Legit. Don't put it on unless you need it. Put a little bit of eyeshadow on, put a little mascara, and fill your eyebrows in if they're that bad. But other than that, don't be putting on 15 pounds of foundation, highlighter, contortionist stuff to make your nose look small. All that stuff is just too much. It really does make people look crazy to me. So yeah, but anyway, that is as much as we know about the Weeknd and the Bella Hadid thing. We just have a quote-unquote source saying that they've been talking, that she never really wanted to let him go, that she still carried a torch for him, and now that he's single and free, because he broke up with her like September or October of 2016, and then by January he was with Selena, so there wasn't a very big window for her to win him over again. You know, when you first start dating somebody and then you guys break up, and as long as you don't date anybody seriously and they don't date anybody seriously, you guys kind of find your way to kind of reconnect back and forth. But if you're going right into dating somebody, I can't find that way to connect, especially if you're defriending me on Instagram. Number 2, John Mayer hospitalized for an emergency appendectomy on December 5th. He was in New Orleans currently on tour with Dead & Company, which is a group he formed in 2015 with former Grateful Dead members. I didn't even know that was a thing. I knew that the former members would tour as the Grateful Dead without Jerry Garcia after he passed away, and I don't even know how long ago. I want to say it was damn near maybe 10 to 15 years ago that Jerry Garcia passed away, but they toured up until the last point, and I thought that they toured without him as well. So, but anyway, John Mayer did form a group with these people, and they were on tour after he had just wrapped his own tour back in October. So this man does not sleep. He's just trying to keep himself busy, and I'm wondering if he's trying to keep himself busy because he's trying to keep himself off the girl track. I feel like when John Mayer isn't touring, when John Mayer isn't writing music, John Mayer is going girl crazy and he's dating somebody. And the minute he gets on track to say, I'm going to release an album, I'm going to do this or whatever, then he's chucking whatever girl that he has at the time, Katy Perry. So, I mean, the whole thing lines up. Literally, him and Katy Perry stopped dating a couple of months before he started writing for his new album, which he just did the tour for in North and South America and Europe. He did over 60 shows, and then you go right into touring with another group. That's a lot. But anyway, he was hospitalized and had to have an emergency appendectomy. But by Wednesday, he was feeling better and was snapping selfies in the hospital, in the mirror, in his little hospital gown. and posting on Instagram that he still got it. So, of course, he is John Mayer back again, doing John Mayer stuff. He still looks cute, even though I told you a couple of podcasts ago, John Mayer has lost my heart because he just, when it comes to women and just running his mouth, he just doesn't know when to stop. Unfortunately, he's one of those friends that you're like, dude, just don't say anything. Just sit here, smile, maybe say like a word or two, and even that word or two, keep it as simple as possible. Keep it to like chair, water, drink, house, like things like that. Don't start talking about your life. Don't start talking about the women you dated. Don't do any of those things because you're just going to start running your mouth in weird ways that it's going to alienate people. So, and that's where I am with John Mayer. I love him. I haven't listened to any of his albums in years, like literally years, even though one of the last ones that I listened to, I actually did really dig it. It was a departure from his regular stuff. I think it was the Born and Raised album, and he was like countrified John Mayer. He was Mr. Montana John Mayer, and I actually dug it, but I didn't listen to it more than once or twice, because that's how I feel about a lot of albums nowadays. I told you after I listened to the Taylor Swift album that there had been very few and far between albums in recent years that I have listened to, and every track that I'm like, oh my God, this is golden. This is good. So maybe I'll take a little journey into the John Mayer realm again and listen to his last album, which I don't even know what the name of the title is, but I did hear one of the singles, Love on the Weekend, during the summer, or maybe it was during the spring. I think it was during the spring, and I really dug it. That is classic John Mayer. It was a classic John Mayer love song type thing, and I really dug it. So maybe I should go and listen to that album when I have some free time. When do I have free time? I don't. Moving on to number 3, Robin Thicke's girlfriend, April Love, is pregnant, which is news to me in and of itself. I didn't even know, that he was dating anybody else. So that tells you how much I've been keeping up with entertainment news in the last couple of months, because these two have been dating since 2014. So that tells you something. But anyway, she is pregnant. And of course, in true model style that I'm dating a big singer and nobody knows who I am, she posted a picture on Instagram of herself half naked for her birthday. Apparently Robin had sent her some flowers the day before her birthday, and they were red roses, and she took to, I guess, taking each petal off these dang on roses and sprawled and put them all over her goodie bits, took a picture and captioned it for her Instagram as so extra. And I'm gonna say, yeah, you're extra extra, because it wasn't even like she just bought some rose petals, because I think that you can go to a store and actually say, I want some rose petals. I don't think you physically have to buy roses and take them off one by one. I legit think that you can go to a store and buy these. So I'm hoping that she wasn't so extra as to have one of her friends or even Robin go and take these petals off of these roses that he sent her so that she could take this picture. But anyway, she's laid up on a bed of white, and she takes these rose petals and sprawls it over her goodie bits and takes the picture. And it is actually a very cute picture. I could see myself doing that too if I didn't look like my face was stung by 100 bees when I was pregnant. I could totally see myself doing that. So getting back to it, the big news to me was the fact that he even had a girlfriend that was even pregnant. Per Us Weekly, the two began dating after he and Paula Patton filed for divorce back in October of 2014. Okay, that, like I said, that tells you how much I was paying attention. But in October 2014, I had a newborn, so I really wasn't keeping up with as much as I wanted to. Although, I was scrolling in the middle of the night, so maybe he just wasn't on my radar. Who knows? But yeah, they went public with their relationship in May of 2015 at the Cannes Film Festival. She looks exactly like Paula. The minute I pulled up the article saying that, Robin Thicke's girlfriend is pregnant, I immediately looked and I was like, that looks like Paula Patton. She is an exact replica of Paula Patton, only 20 years earlier, because this girl is only 23. He sent her birthday flowers. She was turning 23. That means that when they started dating, she was only 19. And you know how I feel about these young girls dating these old men. Now, Robin Thicke can kind of still get it. Although they showed pictures of he and her on vacation, and Robin Thicke has gained some weight. He totally has dad bod now. Like, what happened to the skinny mini Robin Thicke of latter years? I remember the first time I saw Robin Thicke. Let me take it back. I don't even know how many years ago this was. It probably was about 11, maybe 12, maybe even 13 years ago. I'm not even sure. But it was When I Get You Alone, and he had that flowing hair. Oh my God, Robin Thicke. Woo! Calm it down, Mackenzie. Calm it down. But he had the long flowing hair, and he was a skinny mini. He was just like I like my men, tall and malnourished looking. He's exactly my type when it comes to that. Like, I love my men to look like they haven't eaten a meal in a couple of years. I don't know why, but that's how I felt about men back in the day. Right now, I don't even care. You know, I've been married for going on 10 years, so I don't look at, I mean, I do look at guys. I do look at guys, but I don't have a preference as far as like, oh, that's my type. That's my type. Because, you know, I've been married for so long. I can look at somebody and say, that dude is hot, but it's not like, you know, as quickly as I can say Chris Hemsworth is hot, I can also say that Jason Segel is hot, you know, and they are nowhere in the same realm of guys. That's how my brain works. I don't think about it that way. But back then in my early 20s, oh my God, tall, lanky, they haven't eaten a meal in a couple of days. That's how I liked my men. But yeah, so he totally has dad bod now, and that just leads me to believe that, of course, this, you know, model, and I don't even know what kind of model she is. It just says that she's a model. So she's not like a Victoria's Secrets model or anything like that. She's just a model. And that means that they were dating when she was 19 and he was like 37. And that just makes my stomach turn. Maybe his bod wasn't a dad bod back in, you know, 2014. Maybe he was still keeping it tight. Because I remember when him and Miley Cyrus did the whole MTV thing, his stomach wasn't looking like that. Maybe he's gained weight over the whole blurred lines thing. When Marvin Gaye's family was like, they stole the music from Marvin Gaye and then they had to give royalties. Maybe that's when he started to gain weight. Maybe he went into a downward spiral because he's like, this is the most recognition I've gotten in years and you're going to take it away from me? Like, why? Why? I'd probably eat a lot too. But anyway, yeah, the girl looks just like Paula Patton and it's ultra creepy to me. But again, if I'm saying that I had a type back in the day, not saying that I actually always dated my type, but I did certainly have a type that I gravitated to more than not. Maybe he has a type too. Maybe he has a type for mixed girl who's tall, skinny, and has long brown hair. Maybe that's his type of woman. And he went from one nearly 40-year-old one and just said, I'm just going to upgrade and just get back what I had back in the day when we first started dating. Because him and Paula were dating back in high school. Like, man, they were dating for over 2 decades. Like, can you believe that? And then it turned ugly, like out of nowhere. Again, once he got famous with blurred lines and got so much recognition, women were throwing themselves left and right, and Paula wasn't having it and filed for divorce. And now they're in this weird custody battle. Although I just read that the custody battle has been settled, but she was calling CPS on him, talking about he was spanking the kid and he wanted full custody, she wanted full custody, and of course now they've granted joint custody between the two. And again, it's one of those things where I'm just like, oh my God, you guys have a kid. You guys were together for nearly 20 years. There's a way to go about it. I feel for the baby. He's not a baby, he's 6, but at 6, he's paying attention to all of this. And this is going to shape him as a person. So they have joint custody and hopefully they can do it amicably, and hopefully him having another baby with somebody else isn't making Paula like, I want to stab some voodoo dolls that look like myself. So that's really weird that I'm stabbing myself. You know, I don't know. Hopefully everything is okay with that. But the new girlfriend, April Love, posted the pregnancy picture with her with petals. She also posted another pic where she's sitting in front of the roses that Robin purchased for her, saying that he was the best boyfriend ever because he sent her flowers on her birthday. Okay, you know, you might want to up your standards a little bit, April. Just saying. Anyway, the baby is due on March 1st, which is also Alan Thicke's birthday, Robin Thicke's father, who passed away last year. So congrats to them on their new baby Joy. Number 4, Prince Harry is caroling with his ex. Now this is going to be my trash alert, because this story literally did not need to be written, and I even did not need to talk about it. But at the same time, I felt the need to talk about it. So I'm going to talk about it. Anyway, Prince Harry was spotted in London on December 5th at a caroling service with one of his exes, Cressida Bonus, whom he dated from 2012 to 2014. It was actually to raise money for a charity that funds schools in Uganda. I love these two boys. I love Harry and I love William because they are good at doing a lot of charity stuff, just like their mother did. I feel like there are no royals out there doing as much charity work as these two, and obviously it's because their mother laid a foundation for it and they want to keep her memory and her spirit alive, so I love them for this. But anyway, the event was a charity which Cressida did a reading for at the service. Now, whether or not he actually asked her to be at the service, or if it was one of those things where it just happened because it was a former classmate of his and somebody asked her, I'm not sure. But of course they made it such a big to-do that the two of them were both in the same place because Meghan Markle was in LA spending time with her mom. And the thing is, it's like, you know, I call it a trash alert because it literally could have been a coincidence that the two of them were at the same place for the same reasons. But it also could have been the fact that he asked her. Who knows? He could be on really good terms with this girl. He is a prince. There is nothing that he does that goes unnoticed, obviously. So I don't think he would go out of his way to invite Cressida to come and do a reading at this thing because Meghan Markle wasn't there, because duh, everybody's going to be there to take pictures and know that you guys are together. So, of course, again, I'm filing this under my trash alert that I just wanted to let you know if you see that, oh, well, Harry and his ex were hanging out. They were caroling together. It wasn't like that. It was literally, they were both at a same charity event, and that's it. Also in attendance was Pippa Middleton, who is Kate's sister, and Carol Middleton, who is Kate's mother. And this is Kate, Will's wife. So it's like, was he dating Pippa at one point? Even though, remember back in the day when William and Kate were first getting married and everybody was like, ooh, Pippa and Harry, wouldn't that be a cute little thing if the two sisters married into the royal family? And everybody was looking at Pippa's butt because Pippa's butt was on point at that wedding in that gown. Woo! Pippa, she was doing her squats. But anyway, moving on to number 5. Kim Kardashian's surrogate had no idea that she was carrying baby royalty. Now, this information actually is about a month late, and I believe this happened around the time that I was trying to keep up and Thanksgiving was rolling around and I had issues and all that kind of stuff, and that's why I'm a month late on this. But yeah, Kim Kardashian revealed that her surrogate was not in on whose baby she was carrying. Kim revealed this news on The Talk back in mid-November. Now, The Talk is one of those shows, again, that's very female-centric. I kind of dig The Talk a little bit more than I dug The View. The View, I told you in a couple podcasts ago that I didn't like it because I felt like they got too many women that were from too many different backgrounds together to sit down. And while the idea of it is you get an opinion from everybody, I also feel like because they butt heads so much, it just looks like a bunch of women bickering back and forth. You know, it always looks like that this person's in a fight with this person, whatever, when it's like, yeah, these two people have very different reactions to things. So, of course, these two are going to go head to head all the time because they're on opposite ends of the spectrum. Whereas if you had two people that were median in the middle of it, you wouldn't have so much like cattiness. That's what it seems like. So The Talk, I feel like, is a more harmonious way of doing The View. The women come from different backgrounds, but they don't bicker as much. And I don't watch it that much to be a complete judge of character on these women's characters. I've only, like I said, watched 1 or 2 episodes, so I can't really say for sure. But at the same time, the couple episodes that I did watch of them, it didn't seem like it had the exact same vibe. But I don't like, and I'm going to take it back to the whole Bella Hadid thing, where they wear a crap ton of makeup. They wear so much makeup, so much that to me they look like clowns. I just feel like they put too much makeup on them. They're like contoured to the max. There's foundation, there's eyeshadow, there's fake eyelashes, eyebrows, like it is done to the max. And I know that it's probably so you can see their features and everything more up close, I guess, on TV. But with the invent of HD, most people have HD TVs. We don't need all that. Like, it just looks bad, in my opinion. So anyway, she says that the surrogate didn't know in the beginning that she was carrying Kim and Kanye's baby, which has me thinking, okay? When I hear her saying this, she says that the surrogate did not know in the beginning and she wasn't actually required to tell her. This lady could have carried the baby full term, had the baby, and then found out that she was carrying Kim and Kanye's baby. Kim said, and I quote, that I felt like I wanted whoever was carrying my baby. Like, what if they weren't a fan of me or my husband? And what if they didn't want to be carrying our baby? I wanted to give them a choice. And I also wanted a relationship with her. So initially, when I first read this headline, I was thinking to myself, like, wow, Kim Kardashian had this surrogate, and the surrogate didn't know that she was pregnant with Kim Kardashian's baby. And then Kim Kardashian comes to her and says, hey, I'm having your baby. But then after reading that particular quote, then I'm like, oh, no. Or at least this is what I think, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense, is that the surrogate was picked already. She knew that she was going to carry somebody's baby. And then Kim came to her and said, hey, you're actually going to be my surrogate. So if there's something that you don't want to do, you can go ahead and back out of. As opposed to initially, I'm thinking like, okay, so she gets inseminated with Kim's baby. And then Kim comes to her and says, you're carrying my baby. And then she decides, I don't want to carry Kim Kardashian's baby. So what? Then you terminate the pregnancy? Like, you know, if it was me, though, if I was Kim Kardashian, I would totally do it as an anonymous thing. I wouldn't let anybody know, because she says that she was not required to tell her, and that would be the route that I would go. I would pretend that I was some other person. I wouldn't even say I was a celebrity. I would be like, yeah, I'm a Saudi princess and I want to have a baby and I can't have a baby and I don't want everybody to know my business. So here's a list of the things that I want you to eat. Here's a list of the things that I want you to do, who I want you to hang around. Because when it comes to surrogacy, legit, there is no way to control what they do, who they're around, what their activities are, or anything like that, as far as I know. Unless with this particular surrogacy company, like I said, I'm sure that she went through all kinds of background checks to become a surrogate that could house a baby for Kim Kardashian. So it probably is one of the top surrogacy companies out there. It has to be. But even still, I'm wondering, is there a list of foods that she can give her, a list of activities that she wants her to do? Because aside from that person living in your house, there is literally no way for you to know what they are doing, who they're hanging out with, what extracurriculars that they're getting into. Like, seriously, this person could be taking drugs. So and again, I'm sure that they probably have to go in for drug testing and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, still, like, are you cursing around my baby? Are you angry around my baby? Are you getting into fights with your husband around my baby? You know what I mean? Like, that would be all the things that I would think of, because I know how I was when I was pregnant, the amount of things that I wanted done or not done around me, when especially like smoking. I didn't want smoking around me in general, but smoking made me sick, so that was an easy save for that one. But yeah, like, are you hanging around smokers and stuff like that? And again, I'm sure that the surrogacy company makes it known that you can't do all of those things and stuff like that. But it's like, at the same time, I don't know, like, I give it to Kim because I couldn't not know what this person was doing. And I'm sure maybe if you're making a lot of money as a surrogate, maybe you're okay with being told what to do and when to do it, and maybe there is even a monitor on them and stuff like that. I'm sure there's some kind of high-tech stuff going on, but there's literally nothing that you can really 100% know that this person is or is not doing. So that just is really scary to me when it comes to surrogacy. But I guess the same could be said as if you went to adopt somebody. You don't know their background. You don't know what things that their parents were doing and not doing while they were in the womb and all that kind of stuff. So I guess you just have to put your hands up and hope that everything goes to plan. But anyway, so baby number 3 is a girl. She accidentally revealed the baby's gender on Ellen a couple of weeks ago. So it is a girl, and she is due in February. So again, congrats to Kim K, because I could not be in her shoes right now, not knowing because I am a perfectionist to the max. But again, I'm sure there has to be, I'm sure she's given a list of things. There has to be. There has to be a regimen of things that she can and can't do. There has to be, right? Hit me up on Twitter and let me know if you're one of the 2 people that know this information that's listening to this podcast. Let me know if, like, when you're a surrogate, if there's things that you can and can't do, and if that person can give you a list of things that they want you to eat and how often they want you to exercise and all that kind of stuff, because that has to be a lot. But I'm sure you're getting paid a generous amount. So if somebody's giving me a good bankrolling to eat a certain way and do certain things to carry their child, I probably would do it too. So, and that is it. Those are my top stories for today. We are going to go ahead and move into the next portion of the show. I have 2 topics today. One is my ear candy, which is still throwing me into a tizzy because I don't know how I want to handle this, but I still find a lot of good music out there that I'm just like, I want to share it with the world because I want everybody to know these particular songs. So my ear candy winner for today is Jessie Reyez with the Z with Figures. I heard this song over the weekend and I have been playing it over and over again because I love it so much. I am going to dub this the breakup song of 2017 going into 2018. Right now, if you're in boyfriend-girlfriend status with somebody, you're in what's called cuffing season. So you probably won't be using this song as a breakup song right now. If you haven't heard about what cuffing season is basically when people get together because the holidays are here. You have Thanksgiving, you have Christmas, you have New Year's, and then a few short 6 weeks later you have Valentine's Day. And then cuffing season basically comes into an end and people start breaking up left and right. You want to be with somebody during the holidays. You don't want to be alone when you have to go to Thanksgiving at your aunt's house. You don't want to be alone when it comes to Christmas. You don't want to be alone on New Year's kissing your own hand, when that ball drops. And you certainly don't want to be alone for Valentine's Day. So cuffing season is a big thing, and it is a real thing. People do this all the time. And then they part their ways because at this point, all you have is St. Patrick's Day. People start trying to get right for the summer, and then you get your summertime love back on. That's usually how it is. So this probably won't be the breakup song of 2017, but it will be the breakup song of 2018. Now, Jessie Reyez is a 26-year-old up-and-comer. I myself put that she was an up-and-comer, and I giggled to myself as I wrote it down because I hate when people are like, oh, they're an up-and-comer. But I had to write it down and actually say it because it makes me laugh. She is a Canadian of Colombian descent, which is weird. That's a cool little combination. Like, oh, what's your heritage? Well, I'm Canadian, but I'm also Colombian. Like, that is awesome. So she's a Colombian-Canadian? A Canadian? What would be the combination? Because if you're like Colombian American, okay, so she's a Colombian Canadian, which is a tongue twister. You're going to spit on somebody when you say that. So this song reached number 58 on the Canadian Hot 100 last year because it was released in 2016. And it got to number 32 on the American charts as of September of this year. So I dig this song like nobody's business. It is good. The way she speaks, the way she sings, it's a very, how do I want to say this? It's a very kid-like voice, kind of squeaky, which I think would annoy some people, but I kind of dig it because it's not a sound that you hear every day. I like when I hear songs from artists that don't sound like other artists. It's a very unique sound. Like, I've heard other people kind of sound like this, and I've also loved those people because, again, it's something that you don't hear every day. It's not a full-bodied voice. It's a lighter sound, but it also has a nice little squeak to it, and I really dig it. This song is called Figures, okay? And I didn't until literally just before I started the podcast realize what figures actually meant. And I do this often when it comes to songs. I don't know why, but my brain doesn't put 2 and 2 together. I sing lyrics all the time that I don't even pay attention to the meaning to until all of a sudden, like a big boulder, it smacks me in the head and I'm like, oh, duh, that's what that means. This song is called Figures, and I was, at the time when I first heard it, and it's like, oh, this is Jessie Reyez, and the song is called Figures. I'm like, well, does she mean figures as in like figures in the sky, like, shadows? Or figures as in like figurines. If you're like me and you had a mom that, was probably born in the 50s, even the 60s, she had figures, like little Hummel figures that you hung on bookshelves and stuff like that, and you weren't allowed to touch them because they were really expensive. Those are things that came into my mind. I'm like, what is she talking about? And it wasn't until I was sitting right before the podcast and reading the lyrics that I was like, oh, she means figures, as in it figures. Like, oh, of course you would do this to me. Duh. Yeah, so duh to Mackenzie, because how did I not get that initially just from listening to the song? I didn't. I did the exact same thing with Solange's Cranes in the Sky. Okay, when I first heard the song, I'm like listening to the beat and I'm like, oh man, this song is tight, bouncing my shoulders. It's like cranes in the sky. And my voice is really bad right now because, I think I'm coming down with another sickness because my throat keeps clogging up. So I can't even sing I don't even sing decent as it is, but I'm going to sing even worse. But I won't even, you know what? How about this? I won't even make you listen to me sing it. But she says, it's like cranes in the sky. And I'm thinking she's talking about cranes as in cranes that build stuff, the cranes that do construction and build buildings. And it wasn't until one night at like 4:00 in the morning, I woke up out of my sleep and I was like, oh my God, she's not talking about cranes in the sky as in working cranes. She's talking about birds. She's talking about those kinds of cranes. Duh, Mackenzie. God. Oh, a brain is a sad thing to waste, let me tell you. But anyway, the lyrics to this song, Figures, goes as follows. Figures, I gave you ride or die and you gave me games. Love. Figures, I know I'm crying 'cause you just won't change. Love. Figures. I gave it all and you gave me ish. Love. Figures. I should stop singing it to you. My God. I wish I could do exactly what you did. And then she goes into the chorus, which is, I wish I could hurt you back. Love. What would you do if you couldn't get me back? You're the one who's gonna lose. Something so special. Something so real. Tell me, boy, how in the F would you feel if you couldn't get me back? That's what I wish I could do to you, hoo. Now, of course, if I could do Ear Candy the way that I want to do it, which is to play the snippet, you wouldn't have to hear me half sing-songing it in my horrible voice right now. But I can't do that, of course, because of the copyright stuff. And I still need to see if I can talk to some kind of lawyer, if I can get a lawyer on retainer. For my Rinky Dink podcast to see if I can play you these little snippets, because like literally that part would have taken me all of about 15 seconds to play for you, maybe 30 because I was reading it quickly. But at the same time, it's like I feel so dumb trying to share this with you and you can't actually listen to it. But go on to Spotify if you have Spotify. Go on to Google if you don't have Spotify. She does have a video on Vivo, which is so simple and actually really kind of beautiful because all she's doing is sitting on a chair and singing the song, and the light in the video filters in and out and it goes up and down, and she's showing a lot of raw emotion. She cries at one point, you see a tear coming down her eye, and it's a beautiful video. It doesn't go above and beyond, it comes right down to where it needs to be. It's simple and it makes the song sound that much more like realistic to me, because it's like, wow, like this girl is writing from her heart. And I read a little snippet that said that yes, she was going through a breakup at the time. This is actually documenting real life events, and she put it on paper and she said it felt great to actually get it out in the open, and it helped her get through her breakup. So I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I do use music as therapy. I love music as therapy, and maybe you're in the cuffing season right now. Maybe you know that you're just trying to make it through Valentine's Day and that you're about to let go of somebody, or that your somebody is showing signs of about to be letting go of you. Go ahead and bookmark this song. Or if you know somebody who's about to get let go of because you know that they just got cuffed and they about to get uncuffed in a couple of weeks, go ahead and share this song with them and help them get through their therapy as well. And Moving on to my last topic of the day, it's in my health and exercise section. It's my Ideal Shape 12-week challenge with trainer Lindsay and Caitlin O'Neill. Okay, so this is the challenge that I am currently doing. It was a challenge that I did earlier in the year that helped me get my body to where it was currently, or I guess during the summer when I told you that everybody was complimenting me on, oh, how fit and toned you look. And I'm like, I haven't worked out in weeks. And I just started the challenge on Tuesday. You're supposed to do the challenge for 12 weeks straight. And as I explained in the previous podcast, the training session goes for 6 days. So if you're like me, I start on Monday. So I do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is my day of rest. Now, of course, however your schedule works, you can switch it around. If you have certain off days or whatever, do it however you see fit. But it is a 6-day workout. And if you're thinking, oh my God, 6 days in a row sounds so hard, it actually really isn't. In the beginning, and I had forgotten this, in the beginning, each workout is literally, the workouts themselves are no more than 20 minutes. And it's perfect. You have a video in the beginning where you can do stretching. It's your pre-workout. It gets your body ready to work out. That video is less than 4 minutes. And then afterwards, you have a post-workout where you do a lot of stretching to get your blood flowing and get your body stretched out from doing your entire workout. So altogether, literally, those first couple of weeks of working out, you're doing it in no more than 20 minutes. Now, as you get going into the program, the workouts do get a little bit longer, but even still, everything is cut under 30 minutes. And I feel like when you're a mom like I am, or if you're somebody who works full time and you just can't fit in a workout schedule, this is perfect for you because you do it at home, literally on your own time. So if you got to do it first thing in the morning, if you have to do it after your kids go to bed, you get to do it on your own time, as opposed to if you were to get a gym membership. You'd have to drive to the gym, you'd have to be at the gym, then you'd have to drive home, which for a lot of people, they don't have that luxury. You know, if you're a single mom or a single dad, that little bit of time that you have after you get off of work may be the only time that you have to get to go pick up your kid before you have to pay extra for daycare or whatever, or just anything in particular. But if you can get home, get your kid fed, get your kid in bed, and then do this 30-minute workout, it works for you. Same thing if you had a gym membership and you wanted to have a personal trainer to help you get toned up, to lose weight, you'd have to pay for that trainer. And guess what? If your kid gets sick, if you have to miss out, you're still paying for that trainer. This particular program is completely free, which is another thing I love about this workout. It incorporates strength training, body weight exercises, and short dynamic cardio, which helps you burn fat and build lean muscle. It is awesome. Now, the people who do this are a particular company. This company has so many subsidiaries, it's hard to keep up with. This particular challenge is under the Ideal Shape Challenge section. If you go on to Ideal Fit, which is another branch of Ideal Shape, you will find other challenges with Lindsay in particular, who is doing the 12-week program. You also have Caitlin, you have Ariel, and you have Christy. All of these people have their own challenges. The 15-day challenges you'll find are free. Trainer Lindsay has 2 challenges that are 6-week programs that you actually pay for. From what I read with her 6-week challenge, because you are doing it in a shorter amount of time, she is incorporating a lot more exercises and she's giving you a lot more goodies to go along with this challenge. It's $80, which, you know, again, if you're living on a budget like we are, $80 is a lot. I have $80 that I need to give to my kid's school rather than to losing weight or to a gym membership or whatever. But with this $80, she also gives you a free hoodie. She gives you workout stuff that you would need, such as protein and BCAAs. She gives you a DVD so you don't have to stream it online on your phone like I do with the workout challenges. And she gives you an ebook that you can refer to and look at physically, which some people are more physical than they are visual. I mean, it's still visual because you'd have to look at a book, but I feel like with the Shape Up challenge that I currently do, I have it stream from my phone to my Apple TV onto the big screen TV, and I work out with Lindsay, which is also another thing that I like. There is one of the trainers that does a 15-day motto challenge, Carrielle, and I like the way her body looks and everything like that, but her challenge, she tells you what you're going to do on certain days, and she shows you, but you don't do it in real time. This particular 12-week challenge, you do it in real time with Lindsay and Caitlin, which is another person that's doing the video with you. Caitlin is an MMA fighter. She looks like she can take some telephone books and rip them in half and then beat you with those telephone books. But at the same time, you're like, wow, if I can only hope to get to where she is by doing these things, it gives you a little bit of motivation. But basically, this is how the whole thing goes. In the beginning of the video, Trainer Lindsay comes on. She tells you your workouts, how many of the workouts you're going to do. A lot of it in the beginning is you're going to do 3 sets of 12. And it's usually a combination of 3 different workouts. You do one workout for 12 sets. You do another workout for 12 sets. You do another thing for 12 sets. Then she gives you a 60-second rest, and you do it again for 3 times. And then there's another 60-second rest. And then there's a guy named Daniel, who is a med student and also studying fitness health. He comes on and does a challenge with you. Now, Daniel does challenges like, run outside for however long or run on a treadmill for however long. But Daniel also does challenges such as, let's do mountain climbers, which I hate. I hate mountain climbers, but it's a nice cardio boost that you'll get. And I think it's really cool that this particular program runs the way that it does, because I feel like when you're doing these exercises with somebody at the same time, but you're not in a gym and you don't feel judged, it makes you feel a little bit more confident. If you can't get through the complete workout, if you can't get through all of the sets, you don't feel as dumb as if you were in a class with other people who are able to get through these sets. She also tells you different ways of varying the workouts so you don't feel like you can't do it. When it comes to push-ups, I hate push-ups. And I haven't, like I said, I hadn't worked out for 7 months prior to starting it, and the first day she had us do push-ups. I could only do 1 full push-up. That tells you how weak I have gotten over the last couple of months with my shoulders. My shoulders are already weak as it is, and she says your shoulders are one of the weakest parts of your body. So when it comes to push-ups, it is something that you have to work up to. But she doesn't make you feel bad if you can't do a push-up. She says, okay, if you need to get down on your knees, get down on your knees. I want you to try to at least do as many push-ups as you can, but if you can't do it, here's a modification. And even if you can't do that small modification, do it against the wall. You're still doing a push-up. You're still using your body weight to push yourself up. If you need to do the push-up on the ground with your knees on the ground and your butt a little bit higher in the air just so you can do it, you're still doing it. And that's what I really dig about this particular program, because there's always something that you can do so you can get through the workout. And again, because you're not around anybody, you don't feel like a loser, which is sometimes what I feel like. When I couldn't do but 1 push-up, I was like, oh my God, I suck so badly. But you know what? I don't feel as bad because there aren't other people in here doing at least 5 or 6 or 7. It's just me who knows that I can only do the 1. And of course, now I'm telling you that I can only do the 1, but whatever. But yeah, but then you feel really great about it because you're still doing it. Same thing when she does a lot of weights. She tells you if even at your smallest weight, which the smallest weight that I have and I started out with this program is a 3. I don't need to go down to the 3s anymore. That makes me really happy. So that tells me that I didn't lose too much muscle mass, but at the same time, I know I'm still not as strong as I could be. And I was hurting a lot during this week because I tried to do the weights that I ended up with at the end of the challenge, and obviously I can't do that because my body is not ready for it. But she says even if you have weights that are the lowest that you can go and you still can't do it because your arms are fatiguing out or whatnot, drop them and just ball your hand into a fist. You're still getting the tension, you're still doing the workout. And again, I dig that because you're still getting that workout. You don't feel like a failure because you can't do it with the weights. You can still do it with your hands tensed up, and it's still almost the same effect. And of course, now it's not the exact same effect because you're not doing it with the weights, but you're still building that tension and still working out. So I initially, when I started working out last year, I started with the 15-day Fit Mommy Challenge, which is under the Ideal raw section of the Ideal Company. So basically, the Ideal Company has all of these different subsections. You have Ideal Raw, which deals a lot with products that have to do with raw things. And if that doesn't make any sense, it's basically the Ideal Raw section deals a lot more with vegetables, organic things, and things of that nature, where if you are like 100% clean living, you live completely low carb, you do everything vegetarian, or things like that, you would go to the Ideal Raw section of it. It looks like they have teas on there now, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that would be the section that you would go to. There's also the Ideal Shape, which I think was the first portion of the Ideal Company. That's where trainer Lindsay started the Ideal Shape Up Challenge, because now Lindsay is no longer under the Ideal Shape side of it. The majority of Lindsay's stuff is now under the Ideal Fit portion of it. It gets very confusing, but Ideal Shape currently deals a lot more with weight loss stuff. So they have meal replacement shakes, meal replacement bars, all of that kind of stuff. Then you have the Ideal Fit side, which is where trainer Lindsay and Caitlin and Carrie L are under right now, which deals a lot more with weight training and stuff that goes along with weight training, like protein shakes, BCAAs, fat burners, and things like that. So the Ideal Company has a different niche for everybody who wants to have an active workout life, and I really dig that about them as well. I find that I've done everything from each of their sites. Like I said, I did Mommy Trainer, who is actually Nicole Wilder. She is a mom of 3 boys and shows you that even though you're a mom and you feel like you've gotten to this point in your life where you're just kind of blah about your body, which is what I was. I was really blah about my body. I was kind of blah before I got pregnant, but then after I got pregnant, it was like, there's no way that I'm going to lose this weight. There's no way that my stomach is going to get back to where it was. In her video, she says the exact same thing. She said after her first child, she felt disgusted with herself. She was a trainer and she dealt with nutrition and stuff like that. And even for her, it was hard to get back to where she was. She started a workout plan that helped her lose her baby weight, and she used it in each pregnancy afterwards to get back to where she is. And when you look at her, she looks great. And I love that particular program as well if you're a mom or you're a soon-to-be mom, because it does help you stay in shape while you're pregnant, and it also helps you get back into shape after your pregnancy. Now, when I was pregnant, my midwives always would tell me when they were doing the little checkup on my stomach to see where Chickie was in my belly, they'd always, compliment me on the fact that it was hard to feel him because my muscle tone was so great. And that always made me smile a little bit, because it's like, even though growing up, my stomach was one of those things that I hated most about my body, aside from my chicken legs, that even during pregnancy, I still had that great muscle structure. But then after I had him, I had the hernia, I had the rectidiastases, where your ab muscles separate from each other. I had all of that going on, and I just didn't feel good about my body. Watching her video and learning that, of course, there are other women who feel exactly the same way that I do after having a baby, but knowing that I can get back to that. And I started her challenge, and while I didn't lose that much weight initially because I didn't follow her meal plan, she does give you a meal plan. Each one of these programs actually gives you a meal program. Even the free ones give you a meal program. They're not as complex as the meal programs that you would get if you paid for the program, but they are still a meal program that you can follow that would help you get on track if you needed to start working out and losing weight. But she gave me the tools that made me feel like, okay, I can do this. And especially when I was doing the workouts, the pregnant girl was doing way better than I was, which made me feel really bad. But again, I'm in the privacy of my own home, so I can only feel bad for so long. But yeah, they also have modifications for if you're pregnant, if you're postpartum, if you have rectidiastases. They also have it where you can email the trainers. You can email Lindsay, you can email Caitlin, you can email Nicole and ask questions. You can also be a part of a Facebook family if you have Facebook, where you can go on and there are women that are like, oh, I found this low carb ice cream. You should check it out. I found this. Or, you know, there's different things that you can ask, and you're a part of a community, so you also don't feel alone. And I think that's one of the things that goes along with being a new mom, and you have all these different issues going on, and you feel like you're alone. You feel like you can't ask anybody because you feel like you're being weak. And having this program, you can actually connect with other women to get the motivation. I remember when I was on the Facebook page for the Mommy Trainer, there were a couple of women who would say, I don't have the support at home that I wish that I had, and being on here gives me the support that I need. And that makes me feel like wow, because my husband was on board. My husband, after we had our child, jumped on the fitness bandwagon like crazy. He went nuts with it, which is a whole other thing. But he felt like the fact that he had a baby and now he had something bigger to live for, he wanted to be in shape and be able to do things with him and live a long life. So he was on board, but I can only imagine if you have somebody who maybe is overweight themselves, so if they're not motivated, they don't feel like they should motivate you. Or even if they're not overweight, but they don't want you to get any better than what you are now. I mean, there's people in relationships like that all the time, and that kind of sucks because you need that motivation. If you don't have the motivation within yourself and you don't have the people around you to help you get motivated, there's no way for you to be on track. And these people keep you on track, and I really dig that. So again, I am doing the Ideal Shape Up 12-week challenge. I am in week 2. After I finish this podcast, I'm going to go do my little workout. I'm going to take my BCAAs, which I guess I'll go explain just in case you don't know. And then that's how I'll go ahead and end this podcast. If you're doing any workouts, and I am not a medical professional at all, so if you have any questions, you should consult your doctor, of course. I am also not sponsored, hashtag not sponsored by anybody, by the Ideal people, Ideal Shape, Ideal Raw, Ideal Fitness, nothing. I'm not any way, shape affiliated with them at all. I just really dig them, and I dig their programs, and I dig their products. But when you're exercising, you should always have at least 2 things after you work out. You need protein and you need BCAAs. The protein is to help build your muscle, and when you build muscle, it burns fat. Burning fat is, again, what everybody wants. Everybody wants to burn fat. That's what you should want first and foremost, is to burn fat. And of course, build some muscle. When you think about it as a girl, you're like, oh, I don't want to build muscle because then I'm going to look like a man. You won't. If anything, you'll get toned up. And of course, the more weights that you tack on, the more you're going to build muscle, and maybe the more you'll look like a man. But if you're only doing 5, 8 pound, 10 pound weights, girl, you are not going to be looking like Hulk Hogan. So just calm down. Those are within a good spectrum to start weight training. Believe me, I used to have that frame of mind when I had a trainer. My husband did computer work for a trainer, so he gave me some free workouts. And of course, the first thing I told him, I'm like, you know, I have a very lean body. I don't want to build muscle, and I build muscle very quickly. And I don't want to look like a dude. And he's like, you're not. If you get yourself to be lean, it's going to make you look toned. And yeah, you may build some muscle, but you're going to look great. And of course, I wasn't trying to hear it. But now, having worked out, having to lose the weight and, you know, do that, it makes me see, no, you do look toned. There's girls that are skinny as F that can lift their own body weight and do all kinds of crunches and push-ups and all that kind of stuff, but they still look skinny because they burned all the fat that they can burn. They're literally like 4% body fat, but they look very lean and thin, and that's what you want. So protein is a first and foremost for women anyway. You should be, per websites that I've read, you should be getting your body weight in protein when you're working out, which is totally crazy to me. I am 135. There is no way I can barely get above 50 some days when it comes to protein. So maybe that's why I'm not reaching my results as fast as I would like to. But yeah, you're supposed to be getting that much protein in your body as a woman in general. BCAAs, branched chain amino acids, they are also vital for helping you build muscle. It's also vital for muscle recovery. So if you're running on the treadmill, if you're lifting weights and stuff like that, once you finish that workout and you do your stretches, and the next day you feel like holy hell because your muscles are hurting, and then you're like, okay, now I don't want to work out anymore. If you take those branched chain amino acids, it will help that immensely because it helps your body to heal faster by giving it basically all the nutrients it needs to help your muscles recover. So those are the two main things that I say, no matter what, if you're starting a workout regimen, when you're lifting weights and things like that, you need those two things. Otherwise, you're just going to be working out and you're not going to be seeing any results. And then you're going to say, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. Because that's what we want to see. We want to see results quick, fast, and in a hurry. And of course, that isn't how life is. But at the same time, if you give your body the things that it needs to get to that particular point, it will get there a little bit quicker. So Ideal Fit has all of those things online. They have BCAAs, which taste delicious. They have all kinds of different flavors like green apple, blue raspberry. It's like drinking candy, basically. Although I will say the Ideal Fit BCAAs I have been trying to stay away from, only because they have B12 in them and they have another fat burning thing in them. I can't even remember what it was actually, but if I end up doing a workout later in the day, putting B12 into my system is not ideal. I did it once. I had to do a late workout because something happened with my son's nap time or something of that effect. I took it and then that night I couldn't get to sleep and I was like, why the crap can't I go to sleep? Like I was wired. And the next morning when I looked, I think it had B12 and B6 and I was like, oh, no. So that kind of regulated me to make sure I have to do my workouts earlier in the day. So if you're one of those people that's going to be doing it late at night, I wouldn't recommend doing the BCAAs from the Ideal Fit people. You can look online on Amazon. Amazon has some crazy cheap BCAAs for like under $19, I believe. The better the taste I find, the more expensive it is, but you can get it for $20 and it does give you about 30 days worth supply if you drink them every day, which you're supposed to do them after workouts. And you're supposed to do it on days that you're not working out, which I always forget to do it on days that I'm not working out. But it does help your muscles to recover. So that's why you're still wanting to take them after you work out and on days that you're not working out. So yeah, if you are wanting to get in shape, if you're wanting to get that body back, go ahead. Don't wait till New Year's. Don't wait till New Year's resolution to try to jump on that bandwagon. Do it right now during the holidays. That's why I started. When I started, that's when I said I had to get on track because Thanksgiving, I went crazy. I ate so much mac and cheese and so much pie. And like I said, I'm going to be doing the cycling class this weekend. So I had to make sure that I had a good foundation going into that cycling class. But I also, during the holidays, wanted to make sure that all the crap that I've been eating, that I am also kind of counteracting the crap by at least working out. I'm probably not going to see any six-pack abs anytime soon because of the crap that I've been ingesting. But at the same time, at least I'm still working out and at least I'm still doing something to be active. My shoulders and chest still look pretty defined from the beginning of the summer. So that's not my trouble area. My trouble area really is my stomach, which like I said, I've always had trouble with my stomach. I've always hated my stomach. I remember once I got out of band and went into high school, my stomach started to get a little bit pudgy. If you didn't know, nerd alert, I was bass clarinet in middle school in band. So you do a lot of blowing because it's a wood instrument, which tightens up your ab muscles. I'm assuming that was my foundation for getting my abs the way that they were. But in high school, I didn't do band, and I felt that my middle got a little bit softer and going into my 20s as well. But that was always one of my trouble spots. Going into my 30s, of course, that was the first place that I started to gain weight. And after having a baby, that's where my trouble spots were. But also after having a baby, my thighs and my butt were like, not copacetic at all. My butt was starting to sag. Lindsay does squats and or lunges in every leg day. So there is no way for your butt to sag during this program, and I am in love with my butt. It was getting a little jiggly back during the end of the summer, and I was like, ooh, that's when I knew I needed to get back on track. So that's why I was like, I need to get back and get this butt back up to where it was. After her workout program, I was in love with my butt again, and it's like, okay, squats is what you need to do to keep that butt in check. And your squats actually works all the way up from your thighs and your butt to your abdomen. I didn't even realize that, but it does your abs as well. So it's almost a full body workout, which is pretty neat. So let me go ahead and end this podcast here so I can get to it. I need to get that workout in. I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. I can't really tell. I think I went over. I had to stop so many times because I'm right next to my window and cars drive by and it's a really loud noise, so I have to stop. And I also lost my train of thought a couple different times during the show. All I want for Christmas is some ginkgo biloba. Follow me on social media. I am Mommy's Media Medium on Instagram. Even though I have not been posting, I need to get on it. I'm going to start posting again this week. But yes, I am on Instagram as Mommy's Media Medium. I'm on Facebook as Mommy's Media Medium. I am on Twitter as Miss Mackenzie. And that is it for today's show. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you do some squats to lift that booty up. And I hope you don't have to worry about being uncuffed at the end of the year. And if so, just say, figures. Figures. Bye, guys.